What's going on, Westworld? It's SAV to the AGE Savage K, and today I have some videos from our first conquering of the territory stronghold. We're rocking that gold castle skin. She's pretty, isn't she? I just love this castle. Some of the castle skins are really cool and all, but this one is far and away my absolute favorite. I wish there was some kind of way I could get a permanent version, but this one only lasts for 7 days. There is a 7-day and a 30-day version, I believe. The only way you can get these skins is through the recharge rewards. I didn't see any in this last recharge, but sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. But it's definitely the most beautiful castle skin out of all, I think. But anyways, let's talk about this territory battle. The first Kingdom Stronghold was contested by FSB, but FEN held strong and captured it. Then the second stronghold was claimed by VPR, and now we're preparing to capture the third in this video. So there's not been a lot of contesting of these strongholds yet. I did some commentation in this video also, but I cut out the original audio. We didn't have any challenger this time. I'm not going to waste you guys' time on that. So I decided just to take this time and talk about what happens after you claim the stronghold. So the countdown is almost over here. And there we go. It's in a battle state for the very first time. Devil is going to be the first one to enter the stronghold as he has the largest Hall of War. Then the rest of us are just going to send our troops in. Now, there are two ways you can do this. One, the largest Hall of War sends their march first, which sets the amount of soldiers that can be held in the stronghold at once. Or two, you can rally off the castle with the largest Hall of War. We are also close here and prepared enough with members online that we just sent marches individually after Devil. Another thing that you want to be sure that you're doing is reinforcing each other's castles, especially in a more hostile kingdom. Just like with a throne battle, you're not going to be able to shield during the times that your troops are occupying the stronghold, which is an opportune time to get rallied or beat down or something. I stay paranoid all the time, so if I'm supporting in the throne or stronghold, I usually just stay online or I'm continually monitoring what's going on. But as I already told you, spoiler alert, we didn't have any challengers for this first stronghold battle. We conquered it, and we've been learning how the new tax system works within our territory. First thing we notice is that everyone pays taxes within the border. Even the conquering alliance pays taxes. They even pay taxes in the alliance mine. Next thing I noticed was the method for managing taxed resource inside the stronghold. It looks like all the taxed resource just stays inside the stronghold and is saved up here. Then the R4 and R5 of the Conquering Alliance are able to build these resource castles once a day, which you can see in a clip I'm going to add here at the end of the video. When they build these castles, this resource castle appears within a random area in the territory. However, the player that planted the castle will be given the coordinates. The castle contains 1/10 of the resources held within the stronghold. So if the stronghold contains 50 million wood, 50 million food, 10 million iron, and 500,000 mithril, then the resource castle will contain 5 million wood, 5 million food, 1 million iron, and 50,000 mithril. That's a good amount of resource, but it's not a huge, majestic amount yet. One thing I've seen some alliances doing is they're planting the resource castle daily, then collecting the resource with a depot castle, then saving it for one of the alliance members is ready for a larger castle build. But I kind of have a crazy idea about these taxes, guys. If you do not use the resource, then it just stays inside the stronghold. If you're using the resource castle every day, you're basically removing all the tax collected over the last day or so. So the amount of resources in the castle will never really increase. But what if you just left it in the stronghold? You do have the risk of another alliance conquering the stronghold and gaining control of the resource and using the saved resource. But what if you were able to maintain control of the stronghold for a long period of time, saving resource inside? Let me try and put this into perspective. What is one of the hardest builds to save resource for in the game? That would be the Castle 30 build. The total resource needed, I think, is 231 million wood, 231 million food, 22 million iron, and 1.38 million mithril. What if there was a possibility to save up enough resources that when you did use the resource castle, it had enough inside to build the Castle 30? Whenever someone met the requirements for the Castle 30 build, it would basically be given all the resource needed for the build from the taxes. Now, since the resource castle only gives 1/10 of the resource inside of the stronghold, your stronghold would need to contain 2.31 billion wood, 2.31 billion food, 220 million iron, and 13.8 million mithril. Then it would provide all the resource needed. That's an absolute ridiculous amount of resource to save. I'm trying to get a good estimation on how long it would take to save that amount of resource, if it's even possible. It would certainly take many months and maybe closer to a year for some. There's just a lot of variables that can make this different for each territory and kingdom. But once you've reached that level of resource, you would only be deducting 1/10 of the resources in each resource castle. So you would just need to wait until that 1/10 was replenished again. Now, the big drawback here is that you run the risk of losing the stronghold to enemy hands and they use all the resource. There is a lot of ways you guys can manage the resource here. Cleaning up the resource castles every day is one option, and letting it sit in there and grow to larger amounts is another. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think. Which one do you guys think is the best option, or do you think there's a better option? Something else you could do with it is use it as a donation incentive. The members with the highest donation totals get the resource castle once a week. Just save all the resource taxes all week, then when the donation ranks are published, the #1 rank gets the resource castle, or maybe the top 3 share the resource. There's a lot of ways you could do it. Who knows, maybe the development team is going to build more on these strongholds. Right now, the stronghold management only lists one skill, and that is the placement of the resource castle. But maybe, just maybe, they have some other ideas for skills that could be added later. There's some different things they could do with this feature, I think. You could create a system using Kingdom Silver, just as Clash of Kings did for their Kingdom Skills activation requirements. You use the silver to activate certain Kingdom skills. Maybe they could use West coins, or gold, or resource from within the stronghold as payment for better stronghold skills. Maybe there's a good weather skill for activating all the resource plots in the territory to have a 30% higher yield and another 30% gathering speed. Or maybe there's an interest skill. Activating the skill would allow resource in the stronghold to gain interest for a set period. I don't know, I'm just tossing around some ideas here. You all probably have some thoughts and ideas about this territory feature. Let us know what you think. But for now, I'm gonna go work on the next video. Until then, stay classy, stay dangerous, and as always, stay savage.